Your favorite couples here so easily accessible. Grab your headphones, hit play, turn up the decibel. Master of the pod like a young Skywalker. Shout out to homie Yoda, cause great are we talkers. The crew is firm, so it's love to AZ. You signed the Tempe. Score's a competition simply. Sure to get you high like some true West Coasters. Look at the flick of the wrist, one guard named Leviosa. LA is always sunny, Comic-Con with honeys. Pokemon and Dunny, sneaker hype, he's taking money. And Rachel rolls her eyes and see Lee made it funny. Time flies and now my flux capacitor is running. You not rocking with us, you like a muggle wizard, see. Just stupefy yourself with the wave of wizardry. Like Mario standing still and the left's a moving screen. A world full of nerds, but only two nerdly. Don't show you ever heard, you see. It will be a drum like an infectious beat. We complete, they like when the short and long hand meet. Cause we the nerdlies, the nerdly. Don't show you ever heard, you see. It will be a drum like an infectious beat. We complete, they like when the short and long hand meet. Cause we the nerdlies, the nerdly.
Hey guys, welcome to the Nerdlies. I am Chris.
I am Rachel.
Hi everybody, how are you doing? Is this the way? This is the way? Is it?
The way this is.
The way this is. Hi everybody, I hope you guys are doing well. It's been, an amazing week because the Mandalorian is out. Finished last episode of the season, 8th episode, finally just aired. And essentially, that's mainly what we're going to talk about today. I do want to talk off the bat a little bit about, we finally actually dove into Myst VR a little bit more.
Yeah. I actually kind of want to play a little bit more tonight.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah. What do you think of it now that you've had, like, we did the reaction video of your first run through.
Yeah.
But we also did a stream last night, and if you don't know, we have a Twitch account, twitch.tv/thenerdlies. But yeah, we did a stream last night. I played it, you played it. How do you feel about it so far?
I mean, I think it's really, really amazing. Like, it's a really cool. It's just something, like, I keep saying this, but it is literally something I never could have imagined that I would see in my lifetime. Like,
yeah,
if you told, because, like, the game came out when I was, like, what?
It was 1993, so you were 8 years old.
And all I really remember of it is my brother playing it, and, like, it was a little too advanced for me in my thinking and stuff. But he showed it to me, and I would watch him play it and stuff, and I remember him, like, telling me, I was kind of talking about it while I was playing the game, but, like, I remember him kind of showing me, like, what the ending was, essentially, was that, neither of the brothers, spoiler alert, if you're going to play it, neither of the brothers are good, which it really isn't that hard to discern when you're playing the game, because, like, they both say the exact same things, and they both, like, you can get these context clues that, like, in their own ways, they're both terrible. Like,
they're not ideal people.
Akinar is, like, because every time you go, because every land that you go to, or every age, I guess, is what they call them. But every age that you link to from Myst Island, like, later on in Myst 3, like, they showed that some of the islands were meant to teach his children something, because part of, like, the deeper lore within Myst is that every land that you are in was actually written into existence by, like, kind of like a bunch of generations of these, like, druids almost, that had they had passed down this skill where you could literally write in a book exactly, like, what you wanted this land to be, and then through some sorcery, when you open the book, you just touch your hand to it and you go to that land, and that land is yours now. It's such a weird. But then, like, some of the lands ended up having native people when they got there, and so it was kind of like there was some colonization shit that happened. Like,
well, it's almost kind of like I mean,
It's interesting.
Obviously, Tron is later. Tron Legacy was later. It's kind of like Tron, where like he built this thing, and then all of a sudden, it spurred like a native people because of something he created somehow, just blossomed into that. So maybe it's some of that.
It's manifested, yeah. So, but anyway, so what I was trying to say is that like basically all these ages, I believe, also were meant to teach his children different things, and were, and they were, as children, they were allowed to go to all these ages, and then, but again, as it's revealed later, like they obviously destroyed parts of these ages. They ended up murdering people. Yeah. And that's why, like, basically, like, Sirius is, I also believe Sirius murdered people as well. But for the most part, he's the kind of like the greedier one. Because as you see in one part of, I forget one of the ages, but you go into Sirius's room and there's a note from Akinar saying like, "You're so greedy, I can't believe you," or whatever. But yeah, so, and you can kind of see like every room that he has is usually very opulent, and like there's beautiful tapestries and there's like beautiful bedding, and it just looks like a royal suite. And then his brother's shit is all like dark and like, and there's rib cages on the walls, and there's like heads on spikes practically, and like so it's, I guess, if you take it from that value and you don't read as much into it, like I feel like most people will probably think that Sirius is the better one, yeah, because Akinar comes off as so brutal and like kind of snarling, and like they don't, again, like I really don't, it makes me sad that they got rid of the original acting, because the way Rand played Akinar was so like kind of fucking psycho, and like and like he was just like fucking out of his mind, and like Sirius was very much more like, "Yes, why don't you do this?" And I don't know that they really were able to capture that. Like they made them look very similar, and
I don't see the character models that they replaced those videos with do look very similar to me. I don't see much of a difference. I see a little bit of difference. Yeah,
because they weren't supposed to. I mean, they're not twins; they're just brothers, so they're not supposed to look identical. And like Sirius is supposed to have like more of like a slicked kind of hair, and Akinar's supposed to have kind of crazy wild hair. And I mean, I'll have to go back and look at the books again as they've been getting clearer and clearer. Yeah. But so yeah, like I guess that's still my only major gripe, is I don't like that they've made them all animated, because that was such a part of the charm of the original game. Was that like you knew it was like these guys made it and they put themselves in it, and it really like sold it to me. I don't know. And
I wonder if that's one of the limitations of VR, is that you can't use like QuickTime videos, but I don't know. I don't think that's true.
I mean, obviously it doesn't have to be QuickTime anymore, and
or whatever video they made.
Yeah, but like the thing is, I don't know. I feel like there had to have been a way for them to convert it somehow. Yeah. I mean, there might have been a loss. Maybe it was just a loss of quality that they were worried about. But
yeah, possibly.
At the same time, it's like they're both still alive, and you could put a wig on both of them, and they would look about the same. Like they haven't changed that much. Yeah. I feel like they could have easily like just re-recorded them or something. I think that's going to be the weird thing, is seeing the ending, and actually like when you go to see Atris, that he's going to be like a
3D figure or whatever.
Which is, like I said, that's why I loved, like, Riven had live action people Myst 3 had live action people.
Yeah.
Like that was
part of the charm of the series.
That was it was like the tradition. So, but like I said, besides that, like I really, really like what they did with every single age.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's beautiful.
They're gorgeous. Like they did such a good job, and like some of the things are a little bit different, and I understand why, because I think just logistically and like the way you need to walk in that game, I think it just would have been harder if some of the things were different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, like I said, because I feel like it seemed like because they've had these evolutions of Myst, because there was the original Myst, and then they did an updated one. Which I always forget which one came first, but there was like
Real Myst, and then
there was Myst Masterpiece Edition, where I think they just like heightened the graphics mainly, and then when they did Real Myst, they decided to do day to night cycles and weather.
Yeah.
Which was cool and all, but it kind of like certain like I said, it was an interesting concept to feel like actual time is passing as you're on the island, whereas normally it's just always daytime or whatever. But I liked that with this one they kind of did a middle ground where each age kind of has its own like brightness or darkness or day or nighttime. Like the mechanical age is pretty much all during the day, but it's so beautiful and it makes the island look so like vibrant. And then my favorite age is what is it?
Stone Ship?
Stone Ship, yeah. And that was such a cool one because it really fit that, like, because it always kind of was like a moody place because it's all about noise and stuff, and there's different, like, each part of the island is like kind of representative of a different kind of sound, and so
that might have been Selenic Age
or Selenic, yeah.
Sorry,
Stone Ship is the ship, I believe.
Yes.
Stone Ship is, I like Stone Ship. It's kind of too simple. I think it's one of the easiest ones.
Yeah, it is the easiest, yeah. I'm glad we started there.
Yeah. But yeah, I always kind of thought, like, I usually start with that and then I do mechanical and then yeah. And then Channelwood I always do last because it's my least favorite. Because it's not that difficult, but it is like tedious.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like backtracking and trying to figure out where you've made the water go by listening to the water. So yeah. So, but I'm, like I said, I'm interested. I'm actually interested to see. Like, we didn't really actually get to go to Channelwood.
Yeah, we're there now.
Paused it right before we were gonna go. So I'm interested to see what Channelwood ends up looking like. And then I'm also very interested to see what basically what the endings end up looking like, just how they're different, which I think the one thing that will be kind of cool / frightening is getting trapped in the book.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because you really will get that sense of like, I'm just in pitch black dark and then I see like the screen above me of whoever, because that's the whole thing, is like they're trapped in these prison books, and once all the pages are assembled again and you touch it, then you swap places with that person. And unfortunately neither of them are good, and so both of them just go, ha ha ha, you're stuck in the book, I'm going to rip all the pages out, goodbye. And then you assume that they kill the other brother and also their father, or they attempt to go kill their father too. So it's great.
It's always fun, right?
So it'll be interesting to like try out all the endings and see just like how they ended up making that. And then I'm also interested because again, I think it was in Real Myst, as kind of a bonus thing, because it was like an anniversary edition, they made it so that, because it used to always be, once you've beaten the game the right way with Atris, he kind of says, like, I have this mission for you, which is Riven.
Yeah.
But I, like, can't, like, I don't know, I'm not ready to take you there yet. So, for now, you can go back to Myst Island and just explore. And he said you can read all the books and you can go to all the lands and everything like that. And then you go back and there's just little burn marks where the 2 books are, which is interesting because later on in the series they establish that neither of them are actually dead.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay. Where the fuck did they? So, well, it was like he like...
Well, maybe the books are just a representation of, like, how to get there. So it's like, you can probably recreate the book if you were to write it again or create it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know he, like, that was the thing. It was like, he destroyed the books. So I think they kind of do explain it in the fourth, because in the fourth sequel to Myst, which I think was called Revelations.
I believe so, yeah.
You see Cirrus and Achenar again, and they're played by different people, and I didn't like it. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, Myst 4 was Revelation.
Yeah. So overall, like, I'm just really blown away by the detail and the immersion of being on that island, and it really has been something I've always dreamed of, like, literally dreamed about, like, going to that island, because I played that game so much as a kid. So it's just a dream come true. It's such a cool, like, it is borderline barfy a lot of the time. I have to take nausea medication when I play it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a disorienting feeling. Because it is
your brain
all
is just
around
fighting.
you. Yeah.
Your brain
is like, I'm here, right? I'm here, but I'm not walking. Like, I'm moving, but I'm not walking.
Yeah,
That's basically the whole thing. Is it's like I'm somewhere else. I should be walking, but I'm not. Like, I'm like floating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through space, and sometimes I'm floating very fast through space. Yeah, I feel like I should also go, because there was a couple things that I didn't interact with, because even in just playing the game, it freaked me out. And now in 3D, VR, it's like, I really don't want to open that chocolate box. I know a snake comes out of it. And I'm like, you do it.
All right, I'll do it.
But yeah, so hopefully either tonight, or I don't know if we'll finish it tonight, but if we do, definitely check out either on our Twitch, or we'll probably post it on
we might
YouTube
cut it up
page.
And put it on YouTube, because we didn't put the only thing is, like, we won't have the start of the game, because we kind of played for like 20 minutes and it was pretty stable, and that was the only reason we even started streaming that night.
Yeah.
So because, like, right now we haven't built our other PC yet, so our old PC is like, we're trying the hardest to get it to work with this, and it finally worked for a little bit. So.
Yeah, it actually worked pretty well, so that's exciting.
But yeah, I was just impressed. You know, it's my first time actually playing it, because I know that when you play it, you get so immersed in it, like just playing it on PC, that I'm like, I don't want to mess with that for you. But you wanted to see me do it just because, I mean, obviously, and it was good to take breaks, because we were both kind of getting sicky about it. But yeah, it was weird. It was weird to get like a little bit motion sick, and then like you'd move around a little bit and it'd be like gone, and then you'd get motion sick again and you'd move around a little bit and it was gone. It was just your body trying to fight that stuff. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, to play.
Yeah, I guess I was curious as to like how you felt playing it for the first time.
I felt good.
VR. Yeah.
The only thing I would say, my only criticism of it, because I don't have the childhood experience of it with you, from like that you have, was I wish that this game itself would have the system that we had in Abduction, which is where you could screenshot what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So it relies a lot on memory. The game itself generally relies on notes and all that type of stuff. You can't really do that in VR unless you give your player a notepad.
Yeah.
So unless there was a notepad that you could write and scribble things in, that would be great.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could do it, but that would be great. Or just a screenshot system, like, hey, this is going to go in your journal. So that you could remember those numbers or take notes about, hey, this sound is this sound, especially with if we didn't have the walkthrough for that minecart area, like, how are you supposed to do that in VR when you can't take notes to be like, the bell means this, the thing means this, like, how, like, I know I have a pretty good memory, but I know I wouldn't be able to remember all of those sounds.
Yeah, because when you would play Myst, you were always like taking diligent notes, basically. Because
if you wanted to play well, you'd have to do that.
Because I imagine some people probably got to that end part and like were like, oh shit, I was supposed to remember the fucking north, east, and south sounds. And then just being completely fucked. And it must take forever if you don't like know which way you're supposed to be going. Like, and that's why I've always looked it up, because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to sit there and try to figure it out.
Well, also, I think that's a cool wrinkle they put into the modes of this game. So there are two modes. When you launch the game, you can have the classic puzzles, the same puzzles as Myst 1993, or you can randomize them. So for expert players who are very good at the game, they actually get a new twist to the game, because not all the puzzles are going to be the same. There'd be different numbers, different combinations.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
So like that, because like that's like I skipped that one part of the mechanical age just because I was like, I legitimately hate trying to figure out the noises.
Yeah.
Which it's what like I said, it's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like when you get up in that elevator. Well, what you're supposed the thing you're supposed to do is like you're supposed to go into one of their bedrooms. I can't remember if it's Sirius or Akanar, but there's a mock-up of the turning of the island. It says like island turning thing.
Okay.
So you can practice. You can hear the dunk or the ting and the vrr or whatever. So that's what you're supposed to do. Is you're supposed to sit there and practice turning it so that you know, okay, when I turn it this much, it's gonna make this noise, and then when I turn it again, it's gonna make this noise. So they give you like a practice thing, and then but like I don't know how, like, because obviously like I just knew, because I think partly from watching my brother and partly just from looking it up, but like I don't know how you would ever know that, like, I mean, I guess because there's the button there, but like that you would know that you have to hit the center button and jump out of the elevator and wait for it to go down. Like to get to the actual controls for the island, because that's the only way you can get to them. Because it's like there's a thing, there's like an elevator, and you're supposed to turn the little dial until it turns on, and then you turn on an elevator, and then you go up the elevator, and there's nothing up there. And you're like, wait, what the fuck am I doing up here? And then like I think you're supposed to like kind of like try to look back or look up and see that there's something up there, and then be like, oh, maybe. But then like again, like how do you know? Like, I'm gonna push a center button. Like I said, I guess just it's supposed to be deduction. Like what does the center button do? Oh, it's making a noise. Maybe I need to get out of the elevator, and then it goes down. Like, okay.
Cheers, big cheers to Cyan for making that. Super excited to see what people think of it, especially classic Myst players and stuff like that. And we're super excited to see Firmament come whenever they're done with it. Like,
that's the thing
cool.
Is like, because like as cool as this is, like, and it is like awesome, and they did a very good job, and it's beautiful. But they still, I feel like they still purposely left a lot of it a little bit like, well, you know, like in the Selenitic age, like, and there was one part where you see like these kind of autumny looking trees. But they're very simplistic. Like,
well, that also might be the quest. I don't know if that's the game optimization or if it's the quest.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like if you were probably on a better computer, maybe they look a little bit better.
Possibly, yeah.
We are on the Oculus Quest 2, which is a mobile VR device. So we're not rendering the greatest of graphics. So it might be a grading issue. That's what I think, but I don't know that for sure.
And I was gonna say, like, and like I said, I'm trying to say, I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that like Myst was a beautiful game, but I think the reason they made a lot of it look the way that they did was because they didn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
They didn't do a lot of textures.
Yeah.
They didn't do, you know, a lot of like stuff with the sky or making it look like it's on a different planet or anything like that. Because I'm sure that's something they wanted to do, but they didn't know like how.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
Which is cool that they have been able to add some of those things. Because now that was another thing I was noticing too. Is like I was like, oh, now like it's like this. It's like this is like a new planet. It has like a sun.
Yeah.
Or it has like a moon, or it has like something in the sky that's different than what Myst has, which is really cool that they added that. But like I would be like I said, as much as I'm excited to see Myst, and they did a really good job of like renewing it, and like I said, like even on the planetarium always was kind of like very simplistic, and they added like really nice like bronze like patina to the side of it that shines in the light. Like that was gorgeous. But so yeah, like so they did with what they had, they really heightened it to another level. But what I'm excited to see in VR is the world of abduction.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
Because of how
quality
how
it
much
was
more they did with that, and like just the way it looked with the like the hugeness of like the bubble around you, and like doing like that teleportation, like and like I said, and just like the bugs and the like the colors and were so vibrant, and like and also because it felt like the desert that I am from and live in. So that is like that's gonna be I think another level of excitement for me, is to do that game specifically in VR, because like that was such a because I had I would grown up playing these games, and they made these magnificent worlds, but this was like the most beautiful set of worlds that they'd ever made ever. Every single one was so unique, and like even like the bug planet was so like
it's so cool,
so interesting with all the fossils, and like you're walking through this giant like thing, and like to be in that in VR is gotta be like you're like these things were this big, like that's gotta be like such a cool thing, and like and just going into the hive with all those things like flying around, like I can't even. That would be a cool thing for the haptics to feel like the vibration of the hive, like oh god.
But hopefully, we'll definitely do that once we get everything set up.
I really want them to be Riven, because Riven would be really cool too. Like I was telling Chris, like there's one part in Myst where you actually kind of go on a ride, quote unquote.
That was the minecart puzzle we were talking about. Yeah.
But in Riven, there is a whole network of these like. I forget what they call them, but they're like these
basically
little,
trolleys.
Yeah, they're like air trolleys, but then there's also one that goes underwater. Yeah. And I used to always feel like I was on a roller coaster, and sometimes my brother would shake my chair when I did, and it made me laugh. But so that would be super super dope to get to do that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
And then just like riding that cart around the fucking island, like
you're never gonna do a speed run because you're just gonna be riding the.
Oh my god! Around. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just take people on tours of the island. And on your right, you'll see where the old curmudgeon lives, and we're not gonna talk to him today because he's just gonna tell us to get back to work. And guess what? I don't want to. So
it's funny.
Man, that would be pretty fucking dope. I would love to. It'll all be on my entire Twitch channel. Is on like the tour of Abduction Island.
Oh my gosh! But excited to see what else we can do with the VR system. I can't wait to actually try out Phasmophobia on it, because I'll probably cry. But
you're fucking insane, dude.
I mean, I'll do it because the only reason I would do it, I'm not gonna do it solo runs. No way I would do it solo. But if I have a team, that's the only reason I even play that game, is that you have a team and you're trying to do the puzzle. So
dude,
I think it'll be cool.
It's not going to be cool when you see that motherfucker coming at you. You can't run. Or you can't just go, oh no, and look away. Because it's all around you.
I can still close my eyes. But
when you open them, she'll still be there.
It's true. It's true.
And you're in the room with her still.
It's true. But I'm excited to see that, just because, there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of things that we could do with it. But yeah, let's. I don't know. There's not really a great segue because these are the only two things we really want to talk about this week. But The Mandalorian season 2 has come to an end. Episode 8 came out on Friday. Obviously, it's leading up to a huge moment, and I'm just gonna tell you guys. We're going to go into spoilers. So if you haven't watched season 2 or episode 8, please don't listen to this part because I don't think I can hold back from talking about spoilers from this point on.
Yeah.
Just know that we loved it. We loved the show. Mm-hmm. And that's all you're going to get to hear until we start talking about it about the stuff that we've already seen. So, spoiler alert, you've been warned. We're going into everything. And of course, probably people have seen all the stuff. You know, by now, it's been everywhere. Yeah. But, just want to throw it out there. Mm-hmm. Episode 8. We head to the final showdown between Din Djarin and Moff Gideon with the squad of Cara Dune, Bo-Katan, and I forget Ming-Na Wen's character's name. But Ming-Na Wen, I don't even care what her character name is. It's Ming-Na Wen. She's fucking badass. I'll look it up. Yeah, she is. And Sasha Banks' character, which I also forgot. But, oh my goodness, you guys. I cannot believe they pulled this thing off.
Seriously?
We talked about it last week, and it's obviously heavily hinted at that a Jedi would show up at the end of this episode. And we're just going to start there because that's the biggest topic, right? Mm-hmm. So we talked about it last week. Mm-hmm. We threw out a couple names, that we thought could be it. A lot of people thought maybe Cal from the Fallen Empire or Fallen Order.
Fennec Shand is her name.
Fennec. Oh yeah, I knew that.
And the other one is Casca Reeves.
Okay. But obviously we thought maybe Ezra, but we were we were on board with Ezra because we thought it was Filoni. Because we've seen the Lothcats a bunch of times. We thought it might be Ezra. We threw out, obviously, that it could be Luke.
I did, yeah.
And they fucking did it.
I know. I
can't believe that they did it.
I fucking said it. I was like, I strongly think it might be Luke.
Yeah.
For this reason. And then but at the same time, I was like, it's not going to be fucking Luke.
And honestly, as we were watching the show, and I wish we would have done what a lot of YouTubers do, which is do a reaction to the episode, because a lot of their reaction was our reaction, right? Mm-hmm. You see that X-Wing cross the screen, and you're like, okay, the only two people I know that are like related to X-Wings are Wedge Antilles and Luke Skywalker. And the only one of those that is a Jedi is Luke. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay. Yeah. X-Wing, maybe they're trying to throw me off.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think it's like everything that happens, you just keep in your mind being like, well, it could be because you just don't, because you're like, Luke is over here. The more plausible possibilities are closer to your face, so you're not trying to look at it. You're just because you should be like, it's a fucking X-Wing, it's fucking Luke. There shouldn't be any, there shouldn't be any other conversation happening. But we both were I think you were like, oh my God, I think it's Luke. And I was like, oh God, but it could still be Ezra. But then it's like, and then they still try to throw you off because it's a fucking green lightsaber. And Ezra has a green lightsaber. And I'm like, fuck, let me see that hilt. I need to see that hilt. But then literally 2 seconds after I said, let me see that hilt, I saw his fucking arm.
Glove.
And I was just like, nope, it's fucking Luke. It's fucking Luke. There's no way it's not. There's no way that they're just going to be like, oh, randomly put a glove on Ezra. It's not going to happen.
No, not at all.
It's not going to happen now. So but then still in my head, I'm just going, it can't. And that's pretty much what everyone was saying is no, it can't. They can't have done it.
Yeah.
I see it right in front of my face, but it can't not have done this. And then it's not until they fucking put his hood up that we're finally just like, they fucking did it.
They fucking did it. They fucking did it. Because as soon as you see that, obviously,
I'm getting emotional again.
Yeah,
they
right.
Fucking did it.
The look of like as soon as you see that Rogue One homage of him coming through the hallway, just destroying Dark Troopers.
God, it's so sexy.
It's so beautiful.
It's so sexy.
But you start seeing you see the belt buckle, you see the flourishes, the style of like a Skywalker. And it's like that's
and you're like, no, that can't be any. Yeah, and for some reason, like, I guess again because I was so freaking the fuck out in that moment, I wasn't making that connection. But I think the second and third time I watched it, I was like, oh, that is definitely like Rogue One.
It's absolutely
like,
the Rogue One scene.
It's fucking so
but
good.
for a Jedi.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could let him be brutal because it's robots.
Yeah.
I mean, he could obviously be brutal with some stormtroopers, but he wouldn't crush a stormtrooper like that.
Yeah. You would hope.
You would hope.
You never know.
You never know. He might be a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But it's the badass Luke that people wanted, and I didn't know I wanted it, and I did. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, the cat's going crazy. Anyway, he's very excited about Luke Skywalker as well. But yeah, you see him, and obviously people pointed out. Some people that I know had pointed out. They got a little distracted by the CGI, which I understand. It's hard. It's really, really hard to do it without it being a little bit jarring nowadays, especially since everybody knows what Margaret Hamill looks like now.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a fine job. I know that they there was a video out today that was just another like on internet deepfake versus theirs, and we pointed out, I think the one thing that they didn't get right is the lighting. Is I feel like if they would have gone with a darker lighting mode, and then the eyes looked a lot better on the deepfake that we saw.
Yeah. They were a lot like
it looked
brighter,
a lot more lifelike. Yeah. So there's just little.
He does have those very distinctive blue eyes.
Yes.
And you can't really see it in the other one.
The original one, yeah. So there you can nitpick there. I'm not going to, solely because it was just such an incredible moment. Yeah. That I wasn't distracted by it. I still am not when I watch that scene. All I'm thinking about is
it's like the it's like Leia and Rogue One. Yeah. Like it. Or Grand Moff Tarkin, like they're all a little bit off, but like just in terms of the storytelling, it's it's chef's kiss. It's like that. It makes it not matter.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is I'm that's how I don't know. I'm like, you can't tell me that like the Clone Wars being animated but not looking completely right makes you like it any less as a story. That's the thing is I'm like, it's like they still haven't gotten it 100%, but it's fucking Luke Skywalker and it's his goddamn voice, and so who cares? Like,
it's so good.
I just don't care at all. I was like, it's beautiful. I love this scene. This is amazing. Like, and then just like, and I know everyone's been talking about like, Luke, but like just that fucking that last like scene just fucking ripped my goddamn heart.
Yes, I was about to talk about that too, because there's so many good moments of this episode, but obviously this is the most memorable, right? We can't hit everything, but the moment of Din Djarin finally showing his face to Grogu, to assure him that everything's gonna be okay. Yeah. And like learning that lesson from Ahsoka to be like, hey, you have to let him know that he's not be fearful. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's all.
And you said you were like, I mean, obviously we both got pretty emotional. You're obviously always very emotional at a lot of these stories, because we care about them. Yeah. And it was like one of those moments like we just need to breathe for a little bit. Yeah. Just need to breathe for a little bit, figure out what just happened. Yeah. Because it's so good. It's beautiful. Yeah. The light touch on the face, the Pedro Pascal like played it so well and so stoically. Like, yeah. Is it making you emotional just thinking about it?
Yeah. No, I'm Kevin Smith. I am. Yeah.
Just a wreck.
I'm a wreck. But yeah, and then like even I was just watching Kevin Smith talking about it just because I enjoy watching him talk about the things that I like because he gets as emotionally invested in them as I do, and so it's a refreshing thing to hear their perspective. But then like someone was saying that like it was such a poignant thing to happen in front of Luke.
Yes.
Because
yes.
It echoed him seeing his father in the flesh and him wanting to see him with his own eyes. And so it's like, and I guess it triplifies, because you're already like, okay, I knew this was going to happen eventually. I thought it might happen with Ahsoka, but I was at the same time was like, it's not going to happen with Ahsoka. But there's been several times in this when you're like, okay, this is it. They're like, he has to give him up now, you know?
Yeah.
Or this is it. Like, he has to give him up now. So you knew the buildup. You knew eventually, like, because they even teased in the other one where you think he's going to leave him at the village and he doesn't. And you think, he's going to, or maybe
I mean, it's been the crux of the show for 2 seasons. Yeah. Like, he's been...
Where he's struggling with, what is the best thing to do with this child? I don't feel like I can take care of it, but I have to because it is the way. But
it's one of those things that he also, like, in the first season, he was fighting that attachment.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. He was fighting because he's lived that life of being a bounty hunter and being, like, a solo Mandalorian. Like, he doesn't want to have that attachment to anything else. Much like a Jedi doesn't have to have that.
Well, and he sees that it's dangerous and this thing is very small and can't really defend itself. Yeah. It's like, if it was a real, it would be kind of similar if it was like an actual child, but it's like, who knows how long this child is going to take to actually develop, and he can't really do that. Whereas if he had an actual youngling, he could teach it shit and they could defend themselves and stuff like that. Or he could teach them to fight. But, Grogu's small and he's still kind of not really 100% with it.
Yeah.
In terms of being and
he
having
doesn't have
he has the Force within him and he can do things with the Force, but that's literally all he knows.
And he also clearly doesn't have the stamina to do the things.
Yeah, and he's very and when he can use the Force, it's very, very short periods of time. So anyway, but yeah, just I'm not sure what I was trying to get with. I lost my train of thought, but essentially, it's just you knew this was coming, and then it's so painful because it's the right thing to do.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
But so that's the thing is it's if. Of all of these Jedi that could have come, I would have wanted him to go with Luke the most.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like he's in good hands with Luke for now.
In this era, yes.
In this era, the best place he can be is with Luke because Luke is the Jedi of Jedis, and
he's the legend. He's the legend that they talk about in Force Awakens. He's he's the man. He's I can't believe that Luke Skywalker's here, sort of thing. And that's how you felt when you saw him. Yeah. Because you didn't think you were going to see him.
Yeah.
And it's a wonder that you do these stories and you have these, legendary or these tentpole characters that you kind of wrap the stories around. And you still... the thing with Mandalorian is, I liked that... I think we talked about it last episode, but that... experience of Mando dipping into other people's storylines and he doesn't really want to be there.
Yeah.
Which I think is an incredible story or incredible way to tell his story is that he's just a guy that should probably be an NPC or a side character, but he's dipped into so many characters' storylines and he has his own little journey too. That
he's in he's in the most arguably he's within the most iconic characters of the entire franchise, like fucking Boba Fett and Bo-Katan, the Queen of the Mandalorians. He's just somehow thrust upon her. And Moff Gideon and fucking
Giancarlo Esposito. My God, man, you are so good.
So fucking good.
Oh, he was amazing as a villain.
It was great.
And not to not talk about it. I think that we would be remiss to not talk about it. But the team up of the badass ladies of Star Wars, incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a lot of, like, obviously you've had Sabine, you've had Ahsoka, you had a bunch of, like, in the animated series, but you haven't had this moment in live action. And we were kind of like, I don't know, robbed of it, but we never got that. Even with, like, we got Rey, and that was it. No other female character got to be that badass.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that they would have given Kelly Marie Tran's character, Rose, something to do, and they didn't.
Yeah.
You thought they were going to give Phasma something to do. They didn't.
Yeah.
So it's sad that they weren't able to do that, but this did it so well that it was just, like, seamless and impactful all the same. Just watching them be badass. And Ming-Na Wen has been an icon for years, I feel like. And getting her on board is, like, perfect to do this.
Yeah, she's great. She fits right in, yeah. But, yeah, so like I was saying, like, it was just, like, I think there's so many levels to why that was such a heartbreaking, final scene. Because it's, like, obviously you love Grogu. You love Din Djarin. You love the two of them together. But you knew this had to happen. It's with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like, it couldn't be any better. And then, like I said, just having that added layer of, like, yeah, like it being like a father saying goodbye to his son. And, like, knowing, like, that he's in good hands and that, like, and just a fucking, like, don't be afraid.
Oh, it's so good. It's such a delivered line.
But I have to say, because they were kind of talking about it too when Kevin Smith was talking about it, but I was like, I think the consensus is that if/when we do hear Grogu speak, which I was kind of hoping he would say, like, Mando or something.
Yeah, at the end of it.
Like, at the end, just, like, as his first word, and then it could just be like, oh my God, I'll die now. But what Mark Moran was saying is, like, he thought it would be great if, like, you know, the next time we see Grogu and he's, like, got the fucking Jedi powers and he's coming to, like, save his dad, and he just sees him and he says, "This is the way."
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Like, can you imagine? Like,
it would be
oh
incredible.
my God. Like, because that's what so many people have. I don't know if you saw that. Someone did an artwork, and I don't know if they're the ones who did. I think I'm assuming they did the saying or whatever. Yeah. But it was basically like saying like it was supposed to be Grogu talking as, like, an older man.
Okay. And
talking about his father. And them showing him as an older man, but he's wearing the armor signet.
So good.
And
that'd be cool.
And it says, it's just this little, like I said, it's like a story someone wrote where they said, like, that he's talking to his Padawan or whatever, and they said, like, something like, well, like, Grogu, like, Master Grogu, like, we're not supposed to become attached to anyone, right? And he says, like, he's like, you can, like, something to the effect of, like, you can have an attachment, just not, like, I don't know, like, I forget what the quote was or whatever, but, like, or just not, like, fear or whatever.
Yeah, but don't fear the loss of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you can still have the attachment and not, and then he said, "This is the way," or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, so it's like him, like, theoretically of him, like, talking to his future, like, Padawan or whatever. And I was just like, I was like, that's so poignant and
it's
beautiful.
So beautiful.
Like, yeah, just to know that, like, you know, that they might still get to have, you know, more adventures.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. The season 3, this opens a lot of questions and things for what season 3 holds. Plus, they added wrinkle that, amazingly, they kept this out of the Disney Investor Day, but there was a end credit scene of Boba Fett taking Jabba's palace, and now there's a series next year of the Book of Boba Fett, which is just going to blow the doors off of, like, so many things in Star Wars. My thinking in season 3 is obviously we're going to start a lot of the season with Din Djarin just either dealing with the ramifications of his feeling of loss with Grogu, and then I think it would make sense to at least have Grogu return for like the last episode or maybe the last two. And maybe he decides. This is my prediction. I think maybe he decides that the Academy's not for him, Jedi Academy's not for him, or something like that, and he leaves. Or like they said, maybe Din goes into like a situation where Grogu feels like that he's in danger, and Grogu goes to him and saves him.
Yeah.
So there's a lot
many times within Star Wars where
So we'll see how it plays out. I'm actually really excited. Also, I mean, we've talked about how badass Boba Fett was and still is. He got to have a lot of cool parts in this episode too. But now we get a series with him. Yeah. Which was not told to us. This is something that fans have been wanting for years and years, like a Boba Fett movie or whatever. But now they're doing it in a series, The Book of Boba Fett. And now, like, I was thinking, we literally just were talking, listening to Kevin Smith and Mark Bernard and talking about the show. And as they were talking before they mentioned it, this opens the window for Han Solo to show up in the series. Like, I think Boba Fett would be the show that he shows up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, because Boba Fett probably still has a little bit of a vendetta. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. With Han.
Well, that's what other people were saying is like Boba got out just in time before fucking Luke came back and be like, that motherfucker almost killed me. Like,
so there's a lot of
he could have fucked some shit up in that situation.
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah.
You told me you'd save the kid. You can't kill him right now. Yeah.
That would have been very weird. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a crazy time for Star Wars fans. We have so much to look forward to, so many things coming out there, and yeah, I'm excited for everything, pretty much. Yeah. Like literally everything. I'm gonna dive into all of it. I'm amped. Freaking crazy. Yeah. Any other last thoughts about this season?
Just in general. And I guess I wanted to touch on we were watching like some people reacting and stuff like that. And we were listening to Kevin Smith talk, and like him and Mark Bernard were talking about how they felt like it was the diversity really shined in this episode.
Yes.
And not just of like race, but of, you know, extremely strong female presence. And I thought it was funny that they both made a statement where they said, like, it took a while, but then you finally, like, it finally dawns on you that, like, oh wow, this is like a fully, like, you know, this is a full female operation, like, and there's these huge scenes of these women like just decimating these stormtroopers, and I just looked at Chris. I was like, no, I it didn't take me a while. I'm like, I've been living this since I saw Bo-Katan for the first time, and also, or like from the first Cara Dune episode, like
yeah.
And I mean, it's just has built exponentially from there.
Yeah,
but like, it was not lost on me that there were like, as soon as they were like all fucking like walking down the thing together and like blasting people, and then just that fucking beautiful, like, they jump off the sides
and then come back up. Yo, it's great.
Oh my
it's
God.
A beautiful scene. It's a great
gorgeous
scene. Well, I was gonna say, I think maybe I understand that mindset in a storytelling sense, because it is, to their point, if it didn't make sense for those people to be together, which is why people have a problem with the Endgame scene. They felt like it didn't make sense that all the women were together on the battlefield, which I think is dumb. Everybody's on a fucking battlefield. This shit happens in comics all the time. I think it's a nitpicky, stupid thing to be complaining about. But to their point, to people who are not of a minority that represents, it's jarring to them if you don't weave it into story correctly. Yeah. Or weave it into story naturally. Mm-hmm. I still think is important, even if you have to throw it in there, because these are underrepresented characters. But to their point, that's, I think, what they were trying to say. But yeah, it's not lost on a lot of like people that this is a moment that we should really take a moment to appreciate that Star Wars is doing this now.
Yeah.
And having strong female characters.
Yeah.
While one of the actresses may not be our cup of tea, we'll not talk about that.
Oh my god!
But
such a sore
the
spot
characters,
for me right now.
the
So
characters
terrible.
themselves are fantastic, and they work well within the realm of what they did. And this season was just so good, guys. They gave me Bill Burr almost making me fucking cry, talking about soldiers that died on a battlefield, Imperial soldiers. And that's the thing too. They did a lot of good job, like a lot of like work. I have trouble with the word humanizing, but they give you more of the context of why people are Imperial soldiers and why the Empire is popular with certain sects of the universe, because they did technically do what they were supposed to do and wouldn't bring order and have everything together. You can see how regimented they are. Like, some people would curtail their own freedom for that sort of comfort. There are people who will do that and kind of justify that. I mean, clearly we've seen that. But yeah, like it's interesting that they actually gave you more context and 2 different scenes of stormtroopers kind of explaining themselves and showing like the context of what their work is like. Yeah. So I'm just so thankful for Favreau and Filoni for giving us this damn show.
Seriously.
I cannot wait to see what comes next. There's just so much stuff. I think that's pretty much it. I was gonna wrap up just saying, 2020 has been an interesting year, clearly, for everybody. Interesting is probably not the strongest word I could use.
Fucked.
But we tried to make the best of it as much as we can, and hopefully people have been safe and healthy as much as they can, or like more so than they can, because I would like everybody to be safe and healthy. But I look forward to next year. Hopefully the vaccine's starting to roll out. That's feeling good. Hopefully people will take care of themselves better and listen to reason and science. But there's a lot of stuff coming that's, something to look forward to. And I look forward to being able to finally, hopefully go somewhere and like visit Japan. We didn't even talk about Super Nintendo World, I don't think. And that's gonna look incredible. Yeah. Like, I can't wait to see people I haven't seen in a year, but it's tough right now, but I think we are starting to see the horizon coming, which I'm very happy about. And yeah, I hope you guys can see that too. I hope you guys are ready to bring that energy to 2021. I'm going to try to manifest it. We're getting into Christmas and New Year, so I don't know if we're going to do an episode next week, just because we might take the week off because of whatever. But we definitely will be watching Wonder Woman as soon as we can. I'm excited to see what comes in 2021.
Yes, me too.
And we wish you well.
Yes.
We love you guys. Thank you all so much for your support this year. We've obviously needed it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for being there. Thanks to, just shout out to all of our friends who, have kept up with us and asked about things like people. I just, every once in a while somebody's asked, how's the podcast going? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of slow because there's not much to talk about, and you kind of get in your head about things. But, doing this has been, I always love doing this, and just, I'm glad we're still doing it, Yeah,
me too.
And I'm glad you guys are there to ask us about it, so that I feel like I'm doing it for a reason.
Yes. Thank you for listening, all of you.
Yeah.
We
Virtual
really
hugs.
Appreciate it.
Virtual hugs.
Yes.
We're good. I'm glad you're there, and if you ever need us, reach out. we're very accessible. We're two very accessible people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna try to do more Twitch stuff because obviously we've got the Quest now, and I'm building a PC, and yeah, that's gonna be hopefully next year. Give me more of that.
Yeah.
Give you more stuff. And if you haven't yet, please listen to the episode with Brian Volkweiss. Actually, you know what? That's gonna be the bonus episode next week. Brian Volkweiss, the interview.
Yes.
But yeah, hopefully you guys have a good day. Have a good holiday. Have a happy New Year.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah, all the holidays
Merry
that you celebrate.
Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. We love you.
Yeah, we love you. Go forth and be nerdly.
Be nerdly.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Mwah.
Hey everyone, if you like this episode or any of the episodes that we've had, please do us a favor and go on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher and write us a review, and just subscribe to us on any of the platforms that you have. You can follow us on our social media at The Nerdlies, pretty much everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and what's the words? Instagram, YouTube. You can find us on YouTube, The Nerdlies. We do need more subscribers on that so we can lock in our channel and stuff like that. Rachel's social media is
Lady Raygun. LADYRAEGUN.
Yeah, on Twitter, Instagram, and she has a Patreon account.
Yes.
That we are still shooting stuff for.
And also I have a Facebook. I don't have a Facebook anymore, but I have a Facebook page that is Lady Raygun Cosplay if you want to check that out.
Yeah, and that's also facebook.com/Lady Raygun. But yeah, come follow us and do all the things. We'll see you soon. And thank you so much for supporting the show.
Thank you.
Bye. Go forth and be nerdly.
Who are we? Don't show you ever heard you see. It will be a drum like an infectious beat. We complete. They like when the short and long hear me. Cause we the nerdlies, the nerdy. Who are we? Don't show you ever heard you see. It will be a drum like an infectious beat. We complete. They like when the short and long hear me. Cause we the nerdlies, the nerdly.